take it to his head. So I went with the little oopsie doop finger roll, and he blocked my first 3 shots. I was like, okay, now I got to do something else. But
by 2003, Shaquille O'Neal was already a legend. 3-time NBA champion, Finals MVP thrice, and a 10-time All-Star. This guy wasn't just playing ball. He was a human wrecking ball with size 22 shoes. In the paint, Shaq was like a runaway steamroller, but one that could dunk and crack a joke too. But then, a new player stepped onto the scene, and he wasn't just any rookie. Yao Ming, standing tall at 7 feet 6 inches, fresh off being the top pick in the draft, was ready to make his mark in the NBA. This matchup wasn't just another game, it was practically a Hollywood blockbuster. Fans were buzzing. Would Shaq flatten Yao like a pancake, or would Yao show that size, even bigger size, really does matter? When they finally faced off, it was everything we hoped for. Shaq, with his unmatched strength, bulldozed around like always, but Yao didn't flinch.
Took it in, lost it again.
In fact, Yao blocked Shaq's shots 3 times in the first few minutes, something that rarely happened to the Big Diesel.
remember you blocked my first 3 shots?
The crowd was stunned. And Shaq? Well, let's just say he wasn't thrilled. But here's the twist. Shaq, being Shaq, rose to the challenge. He didn't just come back at Yao, he bulldozed him right back. Yao might have had the height advantage, but Shaq had the experience and, more importantly, the ability to make grown men look like kids trying to stop a runaway bus. By the end of the game, Shaq had reminded everyone why he was still the king of the court. Yet, in showcasing Yao's potential, he also hinted at what the future might hold for the young star. Shaq knew it too, famously telling Yao after the game, "You're not that bad for a rookie, big fella." The clash between these two NBA titans became legendary, proof that even Shaq, the unstoppable force, could respect Yao Ming, the immovable object. And while Shaq dominated that night, Yao left everyone thinking, maybe this guy's going to be all right after all. Coming into the 2002 to 2003 NBA season, Yao Ming wasn't just the biggest name in the league, he was literally the biggest. At 7 feet 6 inches, the #1 overall pick from China was expected to be the future of the NBA. But let's be honest, people weren't sure if this gentle giant could actually hang with the best. And by the best, we mean Shaquille O'Neal, the human tank who had already claimed 3 championships and was ready to bulldoze anyone in his way. So when Yao's much-anticipated matchup with Shaq finally arrived, it was more than just a rookie versus superstar showdown. It was the basketball world's ultimate litmus test. Could this towering rookie survive a face-off with the league's most unstoppable force? Sure, Shaq ended up with the better stats, because, well, it's Shaq. But Yao's performance was nothing short of eye-opening. The big fella blocked Shaq not once, not twice, but 3 times.
Shaquille O'Neal took it in.
Which probably had Shaq wondering if someone slipped something into his Gatorade. Yao may not have won the battle that day, but he proved something far more important. He belonged on that stage. The world took notice, and in that moment, Yao went from being the league's biggest question mark to its next big thing. At this point, Shaquille O'Neal was essentially basketball royalty. He had just powered the Lakers to 3 straight NBA championships, establishing himself as the undisputed king of the paint. With a combination of size, strength, and agility that defied logic, Shaq wasn't just dominating the game, he was redefining it. Getting in his way was like trying to stop a freight train with a traffic cone. So when the 22-year-old Yao Ming came onto the scene, the buzz was less about Yao making waves in the NBA and more about whether he could even survive a matchup against the most dominant force in basketball. Yao Ming, the #1 overall pick by the Houston Rockets in 2002, entered the NBA with both massive hype and massive question marks. Yao was a towering 7'6", but carried the weight of skepticism with him. Could he handle the fast-paced physical nature of the NBA? Could he hold his own against the big men, especially Shaq, who probably considered the paint his personal playground? People doubted his conditioning, his ability to score against elite defenders, and whether his size would be a strength or an awkward liability. This showdown with Shaq wasn't just another game. It was Yao's first real exam in the league. The basketball world was watching to see if the rookie could swim with the sharks, or in this case, with the Diesel. In their first meeting on January 17, 2003, Yao Ming shocked the basketball world by blocking Shaq's first 3 shot attempts. And this wasn't just any player, it was Shaquille O'Neal, the most unstoppable force in the league, getting his shot swatted by a rookie. The crowd erupted with each block, and in an instant, the narrative started to shift. Yao wasn't just another first-year player. He had the size, timing, and defensive instincts to stand up to one of the NBA's all-time greats. Those early blocks felt like a declaration. Yao was here, and he was ready to take on the league's best. But Shaq, being Shaq, wasn't about to let a rookie steal his thunder for long. After that initial defensive stand, O'Neal went back to doing what he did best, dominating. He finished the game with 31 points and 13 rebounds, using his power and footwork to overwhelm Yao at times, reminding everyone why he was still the king of the paint. Statistically, Shaq had the upper hand, but the real story was how Yao held his own and flashed the potential that would soon make him one of the league's brightest stars. Despite his own dominance, Shaq gave Yao credit after the game, famously stating, "He's the first guy to block my shot 3 times in a row. He's going to be a great player." This was a rare moment of humility from Shaq, a man known for his larger-than-life confidence and never being short on swagger. But even Shaq couldn't deny that Yao had challenged him in a way few others could. And that kind of respect coming from Shaq? It was a big deal. For Yao Ming, this game was a turning point. Blocking Shaq and holding his own, even in spurts, wasn't just a highlight reel moment. It was a massive confidence boost. It showed Yao, the Rockets, and the entire NBA that he could hang with the league's best. Sure, he finished with a modest 10 points and 10 rebounds, but those early defensive stops were more than enough to make people see Yao as a legitimate star in the making. That game marked the moment Yao went from being the league's biggest what if to he's arrived. This matchup became a defining moment in Yao Ming's career. In the years that followed, Yao didn't just meet expectations, he crushed them. He became an 8-time NBA All-Star and one of the most skilled, versatile centers the league had ever seen. His performance in that first meeting with Shaq set the tone for his career, earning him the respect of his peers and the confidence to keep growing. What began as a rookie trying to prove himself ended with Yao carving out his own legacy in the NBA. Though Shaq dominated Yao statistically in their early matchups, he never hesitated to acknowledge Yao's potential and the unique challenges he posed. Their battles quickly became some of the most anticipated showdowns in the league. It was more than just 2 giants going head-to-head. It was a passing of the torch from one dominant big man to the next generation. Shaq, in his way, respected that Yao wasn't just another center trying to keep up. He was a legitimate threat, and that recognition only added to their rivalry. Yao's success against Shaq also had a much broader impact on the NBA, especially when it came to the rise of international players. His ability to compete and often hold his own against one of the greatest players in the league sent a powerful message. Yao wasn't just representing himself, he was representing an entire generation of international talent. His performance showed that players from abroad could not only survive in the NBA, but also thrive and challenge its biggest stars. Yao's success, particularly in matchups like this one, helped pave the way for future international icons like Dirk Nowitzki and Giannis Antetokounmpo, proving that basketball's global reach was only just beginning. So, was this the moment that Yao Ming officially arrived in the NBA? Did Shaq, the league's most dominant force, see the future of the center position when he faced Yao that night? It's hard to deny that this showdown shifted the narrative and hinted at what was to come. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and be sure to check out my video on their greatest battles over the years. And hey, while you're here, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more deep dives into NBA history.